So, what is management?
It is defined as the process of coordinating a business in a way that assures that the environment is safe and viable for the workforce.
So, there are four functions of management:
Planning, organizing,
controlling, and leading. Leading relates to motivation. So, as the leader, you have to strive to inspire your workforce to get them to do the job in the correct way without feeling any sense of obligation.
Planning has to do with settings and establishing goals and strategies for the company. A company with no end goal or purpose is considered to be pointless or stale.
Organizing involves the structure of the business. In any company, it is left to the people with authority or managers to handle the work regarding the structure of the business. It ensures that the resources are being used effectively and efficiently.
And control is monitoring and observing the employees' work of the organization and to ensure the goals are accomplished. A strong culture would require a minimal amount of managerial supervision, and the weak culture would be the opposite.
So, the purpose of this documentary is to be able to understand what is the science behind management and the four functions of management, and to experience what it's really like to be a real life manager.
So everyone knows that management is a general idea, and it basically means coordinating a group of people in an organization. But today we're going to be interviewing the manager behind the business behind this and get to know more about management.
Okay, we are now interviewing this guy. So, Salam alaikum. Salam alaikum. Salam. What is management?
ها؟
What is management?
ما في معنى.
ما في معنى؟ ما في معنى.
That's why today we are going to show you this video.
So we're interviewing this guy. Since he's a manager, let's ask him a question. What do managers do?
Yeah, I management all spare parts. Okay, and customer coming and I check all area
Yes.
where and spare part cheap price.
Yes.
Okay, and good part and cheap price.
Yes. Alhamdulillah. Thank you. Thank you.
How do you motivate your employees, and what is the reward system in your place?
So the way we motivate our employees, we have some sort of employee of the month. People who do extra time, people who do the extra mile. One gets picked out of all the employees I have, and he gets a financial support somehow.
Do you think your business is a weak culture or a strong culture?
So I think our culture is a strong culture. We don't have any sort of discrimination in our organization. Even when it comes to employees, we have different nationalities. I think I have approximately 6 nationalities, from Sri Lankan, Indian, Egyptian, Pakistani. So we have a variety of cultures that work for us.
Any advice do you have to give someone who wants to be a manager?
Yes, for a person who wants to be an entrepreneur, I think the most important thing is to spot talent, especially if you deal with what we deal with, a mechanic, an electrician, a denter, a painter. You have to spot talent. Because if you don't have talent, customers will never come back if you mess up their car. 2, you have to be organized. You have to be organized. If you're not organized, you're gonna lose. Put a system in place. I have a system called MAS that helps us organize all invoices, salaries, visas, residencies, all the above.
What is the control mechanism in your organization? Tell us about the control process in your organization.
Basically, we have the labor, we have a supervisor, we have a manager, and you have me as the co-owner. Everything has to be through the portal, through the system, where it's where the managers can access it and accept everything online. So this is the way we control the organization.
What is the planning process in your company?
So the planning process is for us to get expert auto service known, get expert auto service out there to the people to know about us, to know we're in Ajman. In the future, we are planning to expand to Dubai, to Abu Dhabi as well.
What is your long-term plan for this organization? Do you open on planning different departments, branches, or do you focus on maybe increasing the performance of this organization, maybe increasing the employees, or maybe focusing on the reputation? What do you plan long term?
So our long plan is obviously what my dream is for my establishment is I want to open more branches. I want to be visible in Dubai. I want to be visible in Abu Dhabi. We have a lot of customers that come on recoveries. We never see our customers. They just come on recovery. We fix their car. We deliver it back. I want to try to focus on the American brands. I do work on a lot of brands. I work on Japanese brands like the known Toyota, Nissan, and Mitsubishi. I also work on German brands, Mercedes, BMW, Porsches. But what I really want to focus on is on the American brands like Ford, like Chevrolet, and be known for these brands. We like to service cars. We like to paint cars. I have a car outside that we're going to do a special color, which is called Nardo Gray, on a Nissan Patrol. And yeah, that's what I'm looking on the future.
How do you feel about this entire business in general? Are you satisfied with it or not? And tell us more about it.
I feel good about the business. If you want to enter this sort of business or this sort of industry, you have to be passionate about it, okay? It's pretty difficult. You got a lot of brands that you need to work and know how to fix them. You have to deal with a lot of customers. You also have to deal with a lot of suppliers because we get parts from all over the world. How do I feel about it? I feel good about it because that's what I like, that's what I know, that's what I do. In terms of has it been good to me? It has been good to me.
Talk to me about your role as a manager and how difficult it is managing a business.
So my role as a manager is a very critical position in any company, not even only a workshop, but any company. One of the hardest things is to acquire talent because not a lot of people in this part of the world want to do this kind of job because it's quite difficult. These days, these cars come in all electrical and they need a computer to diagnose. And if you don't have employees or technicians that like speak English or read English, we're basically working blind. So one of the hardest things is definitely finding talent. The second difficult thing is for a manager is that he has to take, all these technicians. They come with, problems. They come that they want more money. They want courses, to pay for the courses, to do some sort of training. We know that a lot of cars now are going to be electrical. I got my main technician. He wants actually a course in electrical cars, which is great. You know that employee is motivated, and as a manager, I have to like feed him. I have to give him like some sort of training. If that's what he wants, I want to feed him with that. We buy books for two of our technicians. Those are two that speak English. The rest, unfortunately, don't speak English. So that's one difficult thing as a manager that needs to be handled. Second thing is, handling customers. Not everybody's the same. You have to have different approaches when it comes to different customers. You don't change obviously the way you do things, but sometimes you have to bend over for a customer. Customers are the most important thing for a business. If there's no customers, it's absolutely no business.
So, in conclusion, would you recommend this business to myself or anyone else out there?
You have to love it, okay? Because this is quite a difficult. You have to be passionate about it, okay? Not a lot of people, unless you're the type of person who want to take it as a business. Not as. I work with my own hands. I help my guys. I fix cars myself. I spray if my painter's not there. I would spray a bumper. I wouldn't spray a whole car, but I would spray a fender, a bumper. You have to love it. You have to love it because this workshop it's not only a mechanical workshop. It has electrical. It has paint. You have to differentiate yourself from the guy next door, okay? Because if I continue doing what I'm doing and I'm the same guy as next door, there's nothing that I stand out in. I want to do something exclusive, okay? I feel like you're my kids for some reason. I'm gonna تنزل شوي. Okay. لا أنا ما أنزل بعد. Okay. خلاص. All right.
Management is considered to be one of the most important elements when running a business. A workplace would not thrive nor persevere without proper and calculated management or coordination.
The business endorses teamwork and cooperation in the sense that the workforce highlights team orientation. The B roles applied into the video show that the employees are working under orders from different management levels towards one goal, and that highlights the unity of command and the unity of direction. The relationship with one another seems to be healthy and positive. Their work ethic shows that they do care about the subordination of the individual interest to the general interest. Their ability and willingness to perform tasks in the organization shows that they do not require high managerial supervision or concern. We also got to talk about one of the employees there who was kind enough to take some time off and talk to us about the history of the business. Moreover, we had an interesting interaction with the supervisor himself, and he gave us a brief insight about what it's like to be in a business environment holding some level of authority. Furthermore, we discussed with the top manager about some ideas and questions regarding his business, his role as a manager, and what constitutes a safety hazard for the environment in thorough details. Firstly, we wanted to know the source of motivation that helps the employee stability of tenure of personnel. The main technique to that specific concern is by hosting something called Employee of the Month. It is a clever way to have all the employees passionately strive and work towards gaining that title, and ultimately resulting in the growth of the business. Additionally, that culture is outed as strong due to the shared values and the connection within the workforce. It is no surprise that the business has an organized structure and a specific strategy in doing things, and that is to make sure that irregularity does not frequently take place in the organization and to make sure that the objectives are fulfilled. Of course, it is inevitable that when you run a business, you will face bundles of challenges. For example, employees are considered to be the most important aspect of a company. No people means no business. And that's why it's the unfortunate reality that it's also considered to be a difficult aspect to handle and manage. Because not every single employee is the same. Some might demand or request more than the others. Some might suggest ideas more differently than the others. But through high-level managerial skills, you tend to find an equilibrium. In addition to that, competition plays an important factor in your work. You have to outperform your rivals and be able to produce and develop products better than your competitors, so you can eventually and ultimately win sales and relationships from the consumers. Overall, what we can infer about this documentary is that wanting to evolve and wanting to accomplish your goals is easier said than done, because it is not a simple task to be able to work in a business, whether you are a non-managerial employee or a low-level manager or a middle manager or a top manager, because there has to be a high degree of consistency, structure, commitment, and discipline shared between all the departments at the management levels to be on the right page.
In regard to the four functions of management, we can understand the planning process behind the workplace. From all what we saw and observed from the employees, we saw them motivated and passionate with their work. They work for hours on end because the environment are something they are used to and they enjoy being a part of. They understand the cruciality behind following the rules and policies and procedures for the purpose of individual and business improvement. When it comes to organizing, it is exclusively left to the manager. When having loyal and hard-working employees, you have to set up an overall system, a framework that reflects the entire organization. Leading correlates to how you influence the worker positively and inspire them to do their job. So from our experience in observing and seeing the business, we got to see the true personality and characteristics of the CEO, aka the manager. We saw how he interacts with all the employees fairly and equally, with maturity and sympathy, and that leads to them being more willing to be their foot forward. We got to see how managers are supposed to control the workspace and be able to vividly and effectively handle all the work coming from all angles. Ultimately, what we can infer about this documentary is that wanting to evolve and achieve goals are easier said than done. And it is not simple to be a top manager, middle manager, low-level manager, or even non-managerial employee. There has to be a high degree of commitment, structure, and discipline shared between all the management levels and departments in order to be in the right page. Thank you.
Oh!